Hey there! So I went to the comic book shop and I am excited to say that I picked up Dark Knights of Steel. Now, this comic book here, I have obviously more than one, like I always do. This particular one I have for me to read, so yes, I am handling it. I am not looking to mishandle it, but you know, accidents can happen. But this is actually the cover. The actual artwork on the cover is the same on the inside. And in my opinion, I think it was beautifully drawn, beautifully done. There are some panels that are just absolutely gorgeous to look at. And so I totally appreciate it. Now, the actual title, I have a lot of different questions about. So for instance, you know, there's the Dark Knights. It's not typically Dark Knights, it's typically Dark Knight. So what's up with that? And then of course, you know, Steel makes me think of Superman, which obviously he's in there. So yeah, so let me go ahead and show you the variants, which this first one here, I think it definitely fits the whole Dark Knights. Like you can see Batman on his horse and he has his suit of armor, which I think is really cool looking. So yeah, I think this one actually like works really well for the Dark Knights portion. And then this one over here, I thought was really cool and funny. To me, it looks like a medieval trading card. Now these I don't open, I haven't touched it, like just basically to slide it into the plastic is the only time that I've actually touched it, but I will not be reading these because I have my other one. But yeah, I thought it was really cool. You could see it has his stats. Now it does say Superman on it, but they haven't referred to him as Superman just yet. Now, with the comic book, this comic book honestly is, it's awesome. It has a lot of holes that I have questions about, but it also, like, the storyline is just so the same yet different. You know, basically what they did here was they reimagined the DC characters in a medieval setting, if you will. And so there's a lot of complicated situations that are going on just within the first episode, within the first comic alone. So I would definitely recommend it as a read for anybody that likes fantasy stories, or that, you know, they like superheroes reimagined. So I would definitely say get this comic book if it's something that would intrigue you. For me, it was extremely intriguing because lately, you know, I haven't really been digging and deep diving into a lot of the superhero stories. I mean, yes, I was reading Venom for a bit and touched on that, but lately I've been kind of more into the horror genre as well as like more independent comics. So I've been doing a lot of reading for that stuff, but when I had found out about this, I was just like, I absolutely have to get it. So I totally recommend it. You guys definitely read this one. This is a good read. But yeah, I don't want to like make insinuations as to what's going to happen or try to predict what's going to happen. I want to just kind of absorb the information and take it all in and see where it goes. Sometimes you can jump into it and kind of try to predict, but I don't want to do that this time around. I just want to kind of absorb the storyline. So if you guys have not read it yet, I would definitely say go ahead and stop the video here. That way you can read it and then come back to me, because I definitely want to talk about this. So from right now, this is a big spoiler alert, okay? So stop watching if you haven't read it. Or if you don't care and you just want to listen, then go ahead and listen. All right, so here's the story. Basically, the Kryptonians crash land onto the planet Earth in the medieval times. When they crash land, it's actually Jor-El and Lara. So at this point, Kal hasn't been born yet. So as soon as the pod breaks open, she's going into labor. Now, as she's going into labor and Jor-El is dealing with this and, you know, that whole situation, there's a group of people that are riding up on them with their bows drawn. And so, or with their arrows drawn. And so they're getting ready to shoot to kill. And at this point, Jor-El is begging them not to do this because, you know, his wife is having a baby. So they continue to proceed on them, and Jor-El instantly wipes them out with his laser vision. So basically, going back into any like Superman storyline, it typically takes some time for, you know, their powers to come about. But I mean, with this was pretty, you know, pretty fast. So I don't know how fast his powers progress, but anyway, continuing on with the storyline. So this situation is occurring, and then you continue into the story, and you know, you flash forward by 19 years. But before even doing that, there's actually a young man who's Constantine, who is basically having like a vision, and he's basically prophesying what's going on. Now, they don't really specify what timeline that takes place, but you do see possibly a king who, in my opinion, looks like it could either be Black Lightning or Static Shock grown up. So I'm not sure what that is completely about, but you can see that it was prophesied that the people are going to be landing. So I don't know if it's, you know, they're talking about the elves or if it's something else. Because like I said, the timeline has been, you know, I don't know if it's within the same timeline as that, but anyway, you end up flash forwarding 19 years into the future. So basically you see Kal, who is older, and you also get to see Bruce Wayne, who's there too. So Bruce Wayne's role in this is he's basically like the protector of the House of El. So basically that whole kingdom, he wants to protect them and to serve them basically. So he has a lead on a possible magical assassin that's been released from somewhere else and who's been sent to take out the elves. So he goes out to investigate the situation, and he comes upon a banshee who just happens to be Black Canary. So him and his Robins, you know, clear out this inn where the banshee is staying, and so he goes and he finds her there. She ends up attacking him twice at point blank range. She blows apart the room that they're in, and he's basically taking this hit that would have killed a normal person. But he basically walks away with his ears bleeding and a little bit of blood coming from his nose. So this is like creating questions in his mind on how this happened. So he basically is, I guess you can say, rescued by Kal-El, because Kal-El's the one who ends up basically stopping Black Canary from attacking him again. And then they end up arresting her and taking her to the dungeon. With all that being said, then eventually you see them all talking. It's the elves are basically all talking, including Kal and Bruce. And so Kal is not happy that they're arresting, you know, innocent people and putting them in jail before they do anything. But what needs to be understood is that in that particular kingdom, that area, anybody that has magic is considered an outlaw, and they're not supposed to be there. So technically she wasn't supposed to be there. So that's why she ended up getting arrested. But because she didn't do anything obvious, like she did attack him, but she wasn't there for that. Like she was probably trying to get away from something else. But anyway, so going back into it, you know, they're discussing it, and Kal is really not happy with what's going on. But of course, you know, Bruce is doing it because he's trying to protect everybody. Now, Jor-El and Bruce end up going to have a conversation, kind of a secret conversation with each other. And you go into a panel where you can actually see Oliver Queen sitting inside of a tree. So he's talking to someone else, and you basically get to see the hand, and you actually, if you look really closely, you can see a Green Lantern symbol on the hand. You just can't tell whose it is because it's just a white glove with a ring. Now the ring looks actually kind of interesting because it's kind of like a different shape. Like it looks almost like, you know, a Green Lantern if it was like a medieval type of styled ring. So what happens is Oliver, you know, has a bow or has an arrow that was imbued with a power and shot into the air. So go a little bit more into time, and then you see basically Jor-El and Bruce having a conversation. Now, everyone in the kingdom already knows that Bruce was considered a bastard of that place. And so what he comes to find out is that Jor-El is actually his father. So apparently Jor-El and Martha had a night of indiscretion, and then Bruce was born from that. So that would answer the question as to why he was able to take the hit, because he's half Kryptonian, sorry. So with that being said, you know, at that same time, Jor-El is basically facing him, and then boom, he gets shot in the eye with an arrow. Yeah. So he goes down. So that's basically the end of that one comic book. So this comic book is going to be going on for 12 issues. And so I don't know if it's going to be a 6-month run or a 12-month run. So I am super, super excited as to what's going to happen with the story. And I really, really want to know. So yeah, if you guys, like I said, you haven't read it, read it. I think it's really cool. I totally recommend it. But yeah, I can't wait. So I will see you later. Bye.